Welcome everyone, this is Katie's Dreamland for Roller Coaster Tycoon Classic. The goal for this scenario is to have a park value of at least $200,000 by the end of year 3. The park value is nearly at $130,000 at the start of the scenario. That's all thanks to this charming park. While the game is paused, I set research into shops and stalls and increased the ticket cost of some of the existing rides. I set an information kiosk next to the park entrance with free park maps and $5 umbrellas. Next, I picked locations for 3 restaurants. Unfortunately, all 3 locations will be pizza stalls because that is all that's available. While working on the last building, the drink stall was unlocked. I added it to all restaurants and continued building. Next, I added staff for all categories. I bumped handymen up to 7 and mechanics up to 3 to help cover the spread out park. The first ride I added to the park is my signature junior coaster with a ticket cost of $350. Next, I made major changes to the Silver Valley Steamer. I removed most of the ride's layout and 2 of the 3 stations. The new layout extends past the park entrance and underneath Forest Flyer. I added a new second station by Richard's Wreckers. The new track layout for the railroad is a little longer, less in the way, and has 2 trains with 4 cars attached. Next, I added a balloon stall to the restaurant near the entrance and moved Al's Galleon out of its hiding spot. I increased the swings to 18 and the ticket cost to $2. Next, I added a carousel near the park entrance. I set the rotations to 18 with a ticket cost of $1.20. After that, I made station buildings for both stations of the railway. Next to Forest Flyer, I added a log flume. This has a rather short but decent layout with 9 boats and a ticket cost of $350. The first lift hill for the log flume was missing a couple of supports, so I added a bulky wooden structure. Next, I added a launched freefall tower with an underground base. The tower's total height is 22 units with a top speed of 49 miles per hour, set to downward launch mode. I set the ticket cost to $350. Next to the freefall tower, I built a topspin, set to berserk mode. I added a water feature to the front of the ride to mimic an interaction. I redirected path and changed the landscape underneath the railroad to clean up this area. Then I added a motion simulator set to thrill riders. Like I said in a previous video, I don't like the way these rides look, so I built a building around it. Next, I added a looping coaster near Runaway Plumber. This looping coaster won't actually contain any loops. I used this ride type to make a family shuttle coaster. I'll take advantage of the construction rights and have both spikes for the coaster outside of the park border. Along the station, I added a boost section to ensure that the train has enough momentum to complete the return run. I set the ticket cost to $5 and opened the ride. I increased staff to 10 handymen, 5 mechanics, 2 security, and 3 entertainers. Next, I added a haunted house across from the storm coaster. I added a new path to bypass Runaway Plumber, set no entry signs, and closed the underground coaster. In between the looping coaster and junior coaster, I added a stand-up coaster. I figured out where I wanted the drop and loop to go before figuring out the rest of the layout. I gave the coaster a subtle striped color scheme and set the ticket cost to $5. Next, I removed Runaway Plumber and all the path connected to it. This area will now be home to a car ride. I placed a couple of track pieces in the tunnels for the old coaster. This is just for looks, as they are not connected to the ride circuit. Before I finish up the car ride, I added a twist on the hill. I set the rotations to the maximum and finish up the car ride. Back in the corner by Richard's Wreckers, I added a suspended swinging coaster. This is a rather small plot of land for this coaster model, but I managed to squeeze in a lot of track. The storm coaster was in the way, so I closed the ride and removed a section of the track. I set the ticket cost to $6, connected the paths, and opened the ride. Now it's time to replace the storm. I begin replacing the mine coaster track with wooden coaster track. The new lift hill will be 2 units shorter than the original and will be the only lift hill for the new coaster. The new layout will follow some of the old, but with more realistic pacing. The coaster operates with 2 6-car standard trains and has a ticket cost of $6. Next is a roller coaster that a lot of people like to hate on, that I personally love, the Heartline coaster. This is a small coaster right along the park border with 3 Heartline rolls and 2 transfer sections. I opened the coaster at only $2 because the excitement rating is so low. The current park value is $85,000 over the goal, so I can comfortably work on making the park prettier. Next to the Heartline Twister, I added a 3D cinema set to Space Raiders. I leveled the land and continued adding scenery to the area. Back by the looping coaster, I added a spiral slide. I set the riders to the max and set the ticket cost to 50 cents. Next, I created a new path across the hill. I looked into adding a swinging inverted ship on the edge of the hill, but ended up placing it somewhere else. I moved the S-curve for the railway closer to the stand-up coaster's helix and placed an inverted ship. I set the swings to 12 with a ticket cost of $2. Next, I added a path across the front of the pond. I didn't have any better flat rides to add here, so I settled for the space rings. Near the motion simulator, I built my fourth and final restaurant. Inside contains fries and drink stalls with a restroom. This ended up being the only restaurant that wasn't a pizza place. Next, I replaced Forest Flyer with a wooden wild mine ride. I started by following the old ride's layout, but went my own way in the second half. The ride has 3 two-car trains and a ticket cost of $3. With the Ferris wheel unlocked, I placed it at the top of the hill, overlooking the pond. I set the ride to backwards rotation with 2 laps per cycle. The last ride I added for this scenario is a bumper cars near the haunted house. I set the ride time to 2 minutes with a ticket cost of $2. I spent the remaining time dressing up the wooden coaster. This has been Katie's Dreamland for Roller Coaster Tycoon Classic. I had a lot of fun playing through this scenario. I wanted to challenge myself by working with the existing park. The park was too large for me to detail the way I wanted to, but I'm still happy with the end result. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for Bumbley Beach.